The movie opens with a mysterious figure. This person is called the Traveler, but his name is never revealed. The Traveler enters a Christmas tree shop looking very secretive. The man working at the shop tells the Traveler that getting an object was much more expensive than usual because of tight security from border patrols. The Traveler then places a black bag full of money on the counter and gets a card in return. The man tells him to go to a blue BMW to find the object in its trunk. After he gets the object, the Traveler kills both men in cold blood and burns the place down. The movie then shifts to Ethan Copek, a TSA agent at LAX. Ethan is stuck in a boring job. He wanted to be a police officer, but his dream didn't work out. Now he's just going through the motions of life. He has a girlfriend, Nora, who works at the same airport. Ethan and Nora are also expecting a baby, and Nora notices that Ethan is unhappy with his career. She gently teases him about how she rejected him a few times before finally agreeing to go on a date with him, encouraging him not to give up on his goals. As Ethan and Nora talk, they arrive at the airport. Ethan is late to work as usual, and his boss, Officer Williams, is not happy about it. Ethan's friend and colleague tells him that Homeland Security has given new orders to help stop people from using fake boarding passes. Ethan's friend advises him to be more responsible, especially now that he has a baby on the way. Ethan is feeling pressure to prove himself, so he asks his boss for a promotion. His boss points out that Ethan is always late and questions his commitment. Ethan pushes back, saying he's more skilled than others, even mentioning that he can spot fake boarding passes better than anyone else. His friend offers to let Ethan take his spot at the scanning station so that Ethan can show his boss that he can do the job better. Meanwhile, a suspicious van arrives at the airport. In the van, Jesse is chained up, while the Watcher is working to hack into the airport's security camera system. Meanwhile, Ethan is scanning items at his station. The Traveler, who we saw earlier, is waiting for an update from the Watcher. There's a twist. Ethan's friend Jason was supposed to be on scanning duty, but the Traveler notices Ethan instead. To control the situation, the Traveler and the Watcher, who decided to blackmail Jason by threatening his family, quickly moves on to discover Ethan's address and personal life, including that he has a pregnant girlfriend and a baby on the way. They use this to their advantage. Meanwhile, a passenger hands Ethan an earpiece. Ethan tends to turn it in to the lost and found, but when he puts it in, the voice of the Traveler fills his ear. The Traveler gives Ethan a chilling ultimatum. He must let a specific bag pass through security without raising any alarms. If he doesn't, his girlfriend will die. Ethan can't believe what he's hearing. The Traveler calmly tells him that a man wearing a red cap who is traveling on Northwind Flight 1850 must be allowed through without any checks. Ethan asks what's in the man's bag, but the Traveler dismisses it, saying it's not Ethan's concern. The Traveler then shocks Ethan by revealing personal details about Ethan's friend Jason, his home address, family, and even his children. The Traveler is always watching. Ethan, in a panic, tries to call 911, but the Watcher spots him and alerts the Traveler. The Traveler warns that if Ethan disobeys, his girlfriend will be killed by a sniper. Ethan, terrified, locks his phone in a drawer. The focus shifts to Detective Elena, who arrives at the Christmas tree store. She's investigating the murder of two men, O. Vapin and his nephew, who were killed by the Traveler. Elena finds out that the men were involved with the Russian mafia, and while looking through their belongings, she finds a watch that contains a hidden bug from the ATF: alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. The bug can record for up to 72 hours. Elena sends the watch to a friend at the police station to investigate further. Back at the airport, Ethan tries to send an SOS message using his smartwatch, but the Watcher is always watching him. Ethan puts the device away. Meanwhile, the Traveler reveals even more about Ethan's life, mentioning his parents. His father worked as a mall security guard, and his mother is a teacher. Ethan is now stunned by how much the Traveler knows about him. Meanwhile, Elena's friend retrieves some audio from the ATF bug and discovers that Ola, one of the murdered men, was involved in selling guns to Russians. Elena realizes that the Traveler is connected to something much bigger. The Traveler then casually mentions that he's a freelancer who takes on dangerous jobs without asking any questions. Ethan, desperate to stop this nightmare, takes a risk and passes a boarding pass to a law enforcement officer, Leo, with important details about the Traveler's identity. The Traveler notices something wrong. He injects Leo with a syringe that causes a fatal heart attack. He warns Ethan that if he tries anything like this again, his girlfriend will be shot. Ethan is now stuck in a horrible situation, but his superior reassigned him to his original post, near the metal detector, which messes up the Traveler's plan. The traveler warns Ethan over the earpiece that if he doesn't return to his post, his girlfriend will die. Ethan quickly comes up with a risky plan. He switches his friend Jason's coffee with one that has alcohol in it. Jason is caught and fired immediately for drinking on the job. Ethan feels bad, but knows he has no choice. Meanwhile, the ATF officer examining the bug uncovers a crucial word: Novichok, a deadly chemical used in Russian warfare. Alina contacts Homeland Security to warn them. After allowing the bag to pass through security, Ethan returns the boarding pass to the traveler's associate, Mateo. He feels overwhelming guilt and rushes to the restroom to throw up. The traveler, showing no sympathy, continues with his plans. He explains how even a small amount of Novichok can cause someone to suffocate in their own blood. Ethan struggles with the weight of what's happening. He knows that 250 innocent people could die because of the traveler. Meanwhile, Agent John from Homeland Security arrives at the precinct. He and Alina have trouble convincing others about the seriousness of the threat. They rush to the airport to stop the threat. At LAX, random security checks are announced for Northwind flights, making the traveler's plan harder to pull off. Ethan secretly flags Mateo, the man in the red hat, for inspection. Angry, the traveler reminds Ethan that Nora's life is at risk. Panicked, Ethan rushes to find her. Outside, Watcher, a sniper working for the traveler, waits in a car ready to shoot. In the airport bathroom, the traveler confronts Ethan. They fight and Ethan grabs a gun. Ethan demands the traveler call off the sniper. But instead, the traveler activates a bomb, giving Ethan only 10 minutes to stop it. Ethan finds the bomb near his supervisor and Mateo. The traveler orders Ethan to kill his boss, but Ethan hesitates. Mateo, also being blackmailed, kills the supervisor instead. With Mateo's help, Ethan defuses the bomb, but the traveler escapes again. Meanwhile, Detective Alina is driving with a man pretending to be Homeland Security Agent John. She gets a call revealing that the real John never left his office. Realizing she's been tricked, she fights the imposter, kills him, and crashes the car. Hurt but alive, she takes another car and speeds to LAX, knowing a deadly chemical weapon is involved. At the airport, Alina finds clues about Ethan's 911 call and suspects him. She tries to arrest him, but Ethan escapes, desperate to save Nora and stop the traveler. In the parking area, Watcher chases Nora, but she causes him to crash. He keeps coming until Jesse arrives and shoots him, saving Nora. Ethan and Nora discover that the traveler is boarding a flight to Washington, D.C., likely to target a congresswoman. Before takeoff, a flight attendant sends the traveler's oversized bag to the cargo hold, where the toxic chemical is hidden. With help from Nora and Alina, Ethan sneaks into the cargo hold to disable the device. The traveler shows up with a gun, and the two fight in the cramped space. Ethan locks the traveler in a refrigerated unit and releases the nerve agent. The traveler dies a painful death after being exposed to the nerve agent. When the plane lands, police detain Ethan, unaware he saved hundreds of lives. Alina arrives just in time to explain the truth. Impressed by Ethan's bravery, she recommends him for a job in law enforcement. A year later, Ethan and Nora are happily raising their child. Ethan and Jason have resolved their issues, and Ethan is starting a new chapter in life.